Read. Hi, welcome back to Librophiliac Knits. I'm your host, Kat, and I never know how to do the intros to these bad boys. I'm coming to you live from St. Paul, Minnesota, where I live with one of my 3 children, 4 pets, and more wool than I know what to do with. What, man? What am I supposed to say? I love how other people have wrote intros, and every time I want to say something different other than, hi, welcome once again to 222-2263, which is what my dad used to say on our answering machine when I was a kid. You can try the number. We lost it a long time ago, unfortunately. In the times before they let you keep your phone number, my parents had to switch providers. Look at this shirt. Speaking of my dad, look at this fantastic shirt that was a contender for the new Minnesota state flag, and is instead going to now live in infamy as an inside joke, and is being offered as a library card option and apparently a t-shirt. So it's read with the Laser Loon. How are you guys doing today? I have had an interesting month of March. What month is it? I don't know. Apparently, it's March. It's March in Minnesota, which means after a weird and warm and brown winter season, we had the official meteorological first day of spring, along with a blizzard that lasted 3 days. So we finally have snow on the ground now that it's spring. Yeah, what's going on? I am not wearing any knitted garments because first of all, I'm showing off some of my knitting over here. Because why not? I just wanted to make things a little more interesting. And I have lots to show you today. It's been a busy month. I set myself some goals, and I am excited to relay that I have been meeting those goals. And I have lots of finished objects to show you and some works in progress. And yeah, let's get into it. So I had to go back and look because, I take a little time in between these episodes because I don't just knit all day, every day, despite what you might think. And what I saw I had been working on when last we met was the Coracle Cowl by Isolde Teague, which I have finished. Dun, 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 c'est fini. Voila. I will put it on for you. This gorgeous. My daughter says it looks like pie, and I agree. This lovely pie topper is a wool and Angora blend from Dakota Fiber Mill or something like that. I don't have the tag with me because now it's a finished object and I can just wear it. It's wool and Angora, so it's super fuzzy and super soft. And I had to skip a couple of the repeats on this last bit. This is the end. At the very end, you just do some 1x1 ribbing. And because I skipped 4 or 5 rows, I didn't lose yarn chicken. I had enough to bind it off, and I had 2 feet to spare. So that was fantastic. As you can see, it's nice and fluffy. It hits in a good spot. It's still a little bit big. I mean, it's great for getting over my head, but if it's going to be a cowl like this, I would almost prefer that it be a little bit smaller. And I learned from that mistake, and I will show you what I'm talking about momentarily. I just, there's something about, I just wish that they fell a little bit different sometimes. So, I took a long hiatus in the middle of this because I got tired of counting. Because, you know, despite the fact that it is fairly memorizable, every 4 or 5 rows, you have to switch which direction you're going in order to get this lovely basket weave pattern. And it's a lot of like knit 3, purl 5, knit 5, purl 3, back and forth and back and forth. And I got tired of it in the middle. Sometimes I want to just knit and not have to think. And even with brioche knitting, you know, when it's every other, you don't have to count. But when it's 5 and 3, I can't do that mindlessly, despite my best efforts. So I took a little break, but I finally finished it, and it's so soft and squishy, and I love it. It's not really in my usual color wheelhouse, but I still really like it. And then that's how I sewed it together. It turned out pretty good. I was really fascinated. This pattern has what looks like an I-cord edge, but actually isn't. So that was the first time I encountered that. It was like a, you know, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, slip 1, purl 1 with the yarn in front, you know, and then you flip it over and kind of go back the other way with slips and knits and purls, and it ends up looking like, I mean, for all intents and purposes, you can see it ends up looking like an I-cord, but it's not. So if you hate I-cord, just know there is some other option. And this pattern has it. If you were thinking about buying this for any particular reason, that's an added bonus. That there is a freebie on how to make a thing that looks like I-cord but isn't. But that was another thing that I had to think harder about, where if it had just been like slip 3 with yarn in front, like a standard I-cord edge, it wouldn't have had to think so hard. But I had to keep reading the end of it. So, you know, maybe you're cooler than me and you will memorize it, but I did not. So that was the first thing that I finished. I was really excited about it. Lola has come to visit. Hi, baby. Here, you see her? She's so cute. Oh, she hates to be picked up. She loves to be on my lap, and she hates to be picked up. The ironies of cats. Okay, what else did I say that I was working on? What is that? I said I was working on this blanket, this baby blanket, which I have also finished. Oh, yeah, speaking of, here was the last little bit of that. I guess it was more than 2 feet, but not by much. I had this much left, and I decided to just throw it into the end of this bind off because I lost the yarn chicken on this one, and I wasn't going back with that much left. So it's not even crib blanket size. This is a pattern of my own design. I just make an I-cord, the width I want the blanket to be, and then I pick up along one side, and sometimes I knit garter stitch, and sometimes I knit stockinette, and I just went back and sometimes I switched when the color switched, and sometimes I didn't, and it was all just playing it by ear, but nothing was particularly difficult. And when the yarn ball ran out, that was when I was done. And I really enjoyed making this. I have a couple of potential babies who could have this as a gift in mind. It's sort of like, it would be good for tucking around the legs of a baby in a car seat in winter. A couple of cousins had some girl babies, but I only have one blanket, so I have to decide who's it for, and I haven't decided. So it just sits here, and that's fine too. This is not a finished object, but this is a hilarious gift that my mother gave me. Hang on. No, don't ignore that. That's a minute. My mom was at an estate sale, and they were selling a partially finished sweater for $4. And she didn't give me the front and the back pieces, which were also almost done and could totally be finished. But she gave me the sleeves so that I can make something fun with the sleeves. And so I have She said she took it to a yarn store to ask them about it, and they were like, ugh, it's acrylic. You don't want to do anything with it. It's not even worth the $4. And they like throw it out. I will not tell you which yarn store that was because I found that to be yarn snobby in a way we don't need. Like, some of us are here for a $4 half knit sweater. Thank you very much. And I don't have yarn that is this color. I'm not going to go out and look for yarn that is this color, but I do totally want to use these sleeves to make something. I think it'll be really fun. And look, it's got such a good, I like this cable pattern. The cable pattern on the front and the back, I should totally ask my mom for the front and back pieces and just put it together, because I already have an idea. One piece is long, like full length neck to like tunic length almost, and the other piece is short. And what I realized was, and it was worked bottom up, and it would be super easy to just pull it out at the top on that longer piece until the back and the front match, and then make a yoke and a collar, and the sweater would just be cropped. But when I told this to my mom, she was like, oh no, I want to use these for, I'm going to make a bag or something out of it. And I was like, okay, do whatever you want, Ma. So I'm looking forward to seeing what sorts of creativity she gets into. And if she decides against all of that, then I will maybe go back and revisit that idea of turning this $4 gift into an actual sweater. But the other option is to just, I have lots of weird acrylic. I could just totally put it with something else and sweater without sleeve island. That'd be okay. I don't normally do pieced sweaters, but here we have sleeves, and I don't know that I don't know that I would. This tail is really great, isn't it? So beautiful. Lola, what are you doing? Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if I do anything with it or not. But in the meantime, I have sleeves for no reason. Sleeves for no reason. 'Tis the season for sleeves for no reason. Okay. In other news, I am very excited to report that I finished my enormous combination sweater spin. And if my calculations are correct, I should have like 1,000 yards of yarn, which I can use for the Andrea Mowry Spin It to Knit It Knitalong. And these, I've got it in the plastic bags that the dyed top came in. Thorn Apple was the September 22 Fiber Club from Hello Yarn. It was 4 ounces of Corriedale wool top. And then, Heavy Weather was 4 ounces of Falkland wool. It was April of 2022 Fiber Club, Hello Yarn, which, I canceled my Hello Yarn subscription last year while I was trying to be a little bit more circumspect about my expenditures when it came to yarn and wool, because I have totally overdone it and had barely even touched any of the whole year of lovely wool that I got. And I went back and, wanted to think about getting back on this now that I took a year off, and I can't. It's so popular. She doesn't have any more spots for people right now. So that's super awesome for her, and sucks for the rest of us who might want to. So just in case you were wondering, Hello Yarn does not currently have a Fiber Club opening, last I checked, but feel free to prove me wrong. The combination in my combo spin, not only did I use 2 different colored braids, but then I also used white, mostly Shropshire, although sometimes I got creative and just grabbed anything I could find. There might be a little bit of the merino katahdin in here, so you can see how much fun it is. If I had to guess, I'd say that this is probably along the lines of the sport weight. probably goes everywhere between fingering and DK, if I'm honest, because my spinning is still pretty thick and thin. Overall, I forget what I'm doing, or, I take a long break. Some of the heavy weather stuff I spun like years ago, and then it just sat on a bobbin for ages, and then I finally actually took it off a bobbin and put it on a toilet paper roll, and it sat forever. And I think staring at that was finally what inspired me to try to do something else. So I'm fairly sure that it's CVM. I have this wonderful gray fleece that I picked up years ago, and I can't for the life of me find any identifying information about it anymore. But I could have sworn it was CVM, and I picked it because it had such a huge variety of colors in it. It has gray, it has light brown, it has dark brown, it has, dark gray, light gray. It's just all over the place and gorgeous. And I've showed it to you before. So that was the gray of these three colors. Here, let's see if we can just, and then, yeah, the white is like Shropshire mostly, and then the colorful. So those are the different wools involved in my combo spin. And this was like a long, interesting project because I spun 2 full bobbins of everything, every color that I would need on my Ashford Kiwi. And then I was plying everything on my electric eel wheel 6.0. And I got through everything that I had, and I fell short on like the gray. So then I'd go back to the Kiwi and spin some more gray. And then I got through all of the white, like the white would run out. And so then I'd have to spin some more of that. And it was like, it kept going back and forth, and I kept still having more and more and more of the colorful ply. That was the one that sort of determined how much quantity of yarn I was making. And so I just had to go back and it happened a couple different times. So it was like I had too much, I didn't have enough gray, and then I didn't have enough white, and then I didn't have enough gray, and then I didn't have enough white, and I didn't have any more Shropshire. And it just kept going back and forth. But finally, to the tune of this many, I finally finished my enormous combo spin, which unless I change my mind, am planning to use to make the Traveler hoodie to participate in the Spin It to Knit It Knitalong that Andrea Mowry is doing over the course of the next year. And I'm way ahead of the game because look, I already spun my sweater quantity of yarn. Dun, 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 dun. And I think it's the right kind of yarn weight. And if it's not, don't care. We'll figure it out. I want to make a sweater with the sweater quantity of yarn that I spun up all by myself that I'm so proud of. Doot, doot, doot. Very excited. Don't know where that accent came from. Please excuse. Okay. Then the other spinning goal I set for myself, more classic rustling, was to just spin this one braid of yarn. It was the December of 2022 Fiber Club Rambouillet wool, 4 ounces, and the colorway is called Pastilles, and it's just a 2-ply. I just split it, and it's not an official what do you call it, fractal spin. It's just like I split it down the middle, and then maybe it is kind of a fractal. I don't remember. I think I split it and just did one that was like all in one direction, and then I might have stripped the other one a couple more times, flipped the direction, and then spun back and then on each other. But once again, my thick and thin tendencies were way off. So that second one, because the strips of wool I was working from were so much thinner, I ended up making some teeny tiny little guys. So look how fat versus thin. I actually had to do an Andean plying bracelet and double back on itself with that second bobbin because it ended up having much longer quantities of yarn, which means that I made it much thinner. So this is going to be entertaining to knit with because it's going to go from super chunky to very thin. But as I'm knitting up, which brings me to my work in progress that I'm going to share with you. As I'm knitting up my hand spun, I've noticed that even though that seems like it's going to be a big issue, it's not. All right, so speaking of knitting with my own hand spun, which has been something that I've been meaning to do and haven't been doing, and gets us into our next section. Oh no, well, I'm going to be all over the place. Just roll with it, friends. Whatever. I want to show you this right now because it pertains to what we're talking about. But this is my work in progress. This is my indicator. This is the back of the sweater for when I keep trying it on. I'm going to have to like put a tag in it or something. But I'm making it was initially going to be a variation where I just sort of borrowed from the pattern a little bit, and then I was just doing things kind of on my own the way I wanted to. But that has turned out to be not the case. I have ended up following the pattern much more closely, other than skipping out on the turtleneck that was originally called for. But this is the classic by Espace Tricot. And look at what I've got going on here. It is almost I was trying so hard to finish these sleeves so I would have one more finished object for you, and I could be wearing it to film today, but I have been a distracted baby today and cannot finish this stinking. Look at that. Look, I haven't bound this side off because I wasn't sure how much ribbing I wanted, and I didn't want to guess and then not like it and have to go back. So this is on my little barber cord friend with its own ball of yarn, waiting until I catch up. So I've got a little bit more to go, and then I will start with the ribbing, and then I'll decide how long I want the ribbing to be based on actually trying it on. This is more Hello Yarn Club, which is oh man, I knew it and now I forgot. I think it's Targi, Tussa Silk, and Bamboo. I don't remember the colorway name. And then I applied it with white, and I have no idea what the white might be merino. It might have been mass quantity, but here, this is what I'm talking about. I'm gonna try and hold this up so you can see. Can you tell where the yarn was super thick and where it was super thin? Can you? Here, there's a spot that's a giveaway. Like, maybe you'll be able to see a little bit of my shirt through it, but see how you can't really tell? This right here, this line, those are super thin, and up here is pretty fat, but other than I know because I know what to look for, it's not obvious. Oi. Oh, and now the cat's trying to eat my knitting. So that's what this stuff up top is, but then I only had so much of it. I just did a little bit of a combo spin so that I could extend the length of it. As you can see, I really like to do colors with white, but I'm already kind of tired of it, so I'm gonna not do that for a while. Like, yes, I really like how, what do you call it? This kind of yarn, marled yarn looks, but I'm a little bit tired of colors with white because it just makes it look kind of white, whatever. So we're gonna back off of that. But then this stuff down here is the deepest of deep stash. There's not much that's older than this yarn. This is from like one of the first times I ever online shopped for yarn in my whole life. It was Knit Picks. It still is Knit Picks, Wool of the Andes, sport weight yarn. And both of these colors came in a kit that was on sale for like cheaper than the yarn was normally, which might have been because it was like mill-ins. I found some wonky bits. But it came with a it came with a pattern for like a capelet with a hood. So there's a lot of yarn. I bought it in 2 different colors. So I have the purples, and then the other one was like gray and aqua. And I still have lots of that left too. I made a whole gray sweater years ago, and it actually had purple in the sleeves. So like I have sometimes been using this stuff, but not nearly as much as I should have. And I probably purchased this in the aughts, like 2008 or something, like 2006. Who knows? It was a long time ago. And it's just been following me around. I've moved houses like 3 times since then, at least. Maybe even 4. And it's just been coming with me. And finally it's getting some use. And it knits up very nice. And once it gets washed, it's pretty soft. So I'm looking forward to that. So this is the main thing that I have been working on lately, because I'm really on a mission to finish it finally. And Lola is a certified yarn killer, and she's after my sweater right now. Mess. Please excuse me. So I forgot my other finished out. So I showed you this before. This hat that is a Christmas present for my auntie. It's like a variation on a tessellated, except it turns out that the tessellated is mosaic, not Fair Isle, I did fair. Whatever, who cares? I didn't buy a tessellated pattern, so I just made it up because I kind of liked the look of it, and you can figure it out that it's just like 2x2 and changing colors. But then I went back and I made another shift cowl using the leftovers from the hat and this fun self-striping yarn, which you can see mostly in the background here. But all the rest of the purple, and I'm going to give these to my auntie. It was also her birthday this week, and finally I'm going to see her for Easter dinner, so I will be handing this over. And this shift cowl, I decided to see if I could get it to do what I was talking about and be a little bit smaller. So I did not fully embrace the number of repeats that are called for in the pattern. I wanted it to be a little closer to the face. Like, it gets really cold here, and if you want to be able to snuggle up, you want something that goes up over the nose. My auntie walks her dogs like 2-3 times a day. So I want her to be as warm as possible. The pink and the red kind of clash, and I don't care. Hopefully she won't either. Or she won't wear them together, and that's fine. I don't care. It's for her. Yeah, but I think it's going to be great. So the deciding factor on how long, I actually tried to bind it off and then had to undo my attempted, or not bind off, but like start the decreases. I got to a certain point and I was like, okay, I'm ready to start the decreases. But when I held the 2 back bits together and tried to get it around my neck, I realized that like I wouldn't be able to get it over my head. So I had to go back and unpick the decrease bits that I had done thus far and go a little bit further, like do another couple of rounds with increases. And then finally I could start the decreases. But I made this one considerably smaller than the original. And I think like maybe my gauge is just off because I never really checked gauge with the first one. And I'm probably a fairly loose knitter in that respect because I like to go fast and I don't concern myself with like pulling as tight as I can. But this is more the size that I want a cowl like this to be, where it's kind of like it falls on your body so that it looks like you're wearing a kerchief. That was the end of my finished objects. I showed you my main work in progress. Yeah. What else have I got? And then I have been working on some spinning. I did not participate in the 100 days of spindle spinning with Andrea Mowry and all her friends, but I did finally get some more spinning done. And thanks to my friend, I made my own support spindle out of a chopstick and a doorknob, like a drawer pull type doorknob. And I spun a little bit of yarn on it. I only had one little rolag that I had made out of some white wool I had. Hang on, I gotta block my face and see if it'll. Yeah. All right. And then this is the BFL I've been working on forever, which, you know, maybe eventually will be the slowest of sweater spins. But here it is on my Turkish spindle, which I love. And then I've been working on some support spindling. So here are my other two spindles, and the quantity is getting greater, which I'm excited about. I'm going to have to... I only have these two, and I'm trying to be circumspect with my expenditures. And so that was why I ended up making a third one, just to see if I could. Because I'm thinking about buying one or two more, because I can't very easily spin from two onto something else unless I, make a spindle Kate. That's another one of the things that's on my list of to-dos project-wise. And have a third one. Or, here, look at it, spin. It doesn't spin very long. It's actually square on the top, which makes it not want to spin in my hands for as long as it would otherwise. But it was fun to try. It works. Like with this, I don't need another one, because the second that I'm done spinning and, you know, you take apart the Turkish spindle, you have a applying ball like spun up already, which is super awesome. But with the support spindles, it doesn't work that way, because either you have to take everything off and then spin it on something else, or, you know, like I could transfer it all onto toilet paper rolls. I've been saving them so that I can do that. Or, you know, make a spindle Kate, spin it from those onto something else. The main thing that I need, that I don't have yet, that I've been asking my partner to get, is a fishing doodad, like a spinner. It just like spins endlessly, and then you can hang the spindles off of those and just go forever. But so that's sort of delaying me. Plus I want to keep spinning on those the way that they are until they get really full and see how that is. And then maybe I'll just spin onto a wheel, like to ply it, or not. I don't know yet. Whatever. I'm having fun messing around. Not there yet. That concludes my current list of works in progress and finished objects. The only other thing is that I did acquire some yarn as a gift to myself. Oh yeah, for not dying. I was like, it was for something. What was it? I had my first mammogram, and then I had a terrifying callback where they told me that something didn't look right, and could I come in to a different location, and if it still doesn't look right, then they're going to do a secondary test, like they're going to do another mammogram, but then also maybe have to ultrasound that spot to see if there was something there, and left me to stew with that information for a whole week. So when I went back for the second mammogram and was given a clean bill of health, that things had just been slightly out of the shot with my initial one, and it didn't need any ultrasound, and I'm okay, I celebrated by going shopping, which I didn't need to do, but whatever. I wanted to go check out this yarn store. A new yarn store opened up in Minneapolis. It's called Dandelion Fiber Co., and it's super cute, and they carry a lot of... I really want to know, like, I wanted to ask the proprietors of some of the local yarn stores if they talk to each other about who's going to carry what, because so many of the local yarn stores carry different big name online vendors of yarn than each other, and it seems deliberate. Like, this joint had knitting for Olive, which I've been wanting to try. I got 3 balls of the pure silk in this colorway, which is Plum Rose. So I finally get to try knitting for Olive pure silk. I was thinking that I would make the mini mock neck tank, but I might actually have too much yarn for that. And the other sort of summery things that I'm thinking about making that I haven't gotten around to, the Moonset Tee by Ozetta. The mini mock neck tank is Jessie made. And then my favorite type of tank top to wear in the summertime is the like racerback. I think that's what it's called, the racerback tank. That might be Jessie made. I'll put it in the down box. I always do, you know, these are the mentions. So this is what I'm in between. I'm like in between yarn quantities. So I bought and got really excited about and caked up this super baby pink fluffy yarn. And I only have 800 yards of that. And I wanted to make the Moonset Tee by Ozetta with that. But I think in my size, it actually calls for like 1,000 yards. And I don't really need giant sleeves on my t-shirt, so I could probably lose some length there. But I don't know, and I don't really want to play that yarn chicken if I'm going to be 200 yards short, and I can't get more. I bought it on sale. I don't know if it even exists anymore. I wouldn't know where to look for it. But this is 750 yards, which is way more than I need for the mini mock neck. I think I can make that in my size for just 2 of these. So then why not either get a 4th one of these to have enough and make the shirt out of the silk, and then the tank out of the pink stuff. That is where my head is at. I also have, last year when we went to San Diego, I visited a local yarn store because it's like my new favorite way to get a souvenir. And I bought 2. And I always do this to myself, and now I'm like not sure about it. But the racerback tank, the main example is a fade, like light to dark. And so I bought white for the top, and then like a white and oatmeal marl, and I thought it would fade that way, and that might be fun. But I'm sort of regretting that choice. I should have just picked one color. It would have been probably more, I don't know. It'd be fine. I'm second guessing it when I don't need to. Just make the thing, and then if you hate it, then don't wear it, whatever. But like, I haven't even cast it on. This is 3 summer shirts, which should not take that long, even if they are made out of fingering weight yarns, because they don't have sleeves. They're not even full length. The cat is rustling the plastic bags. She loves them. I'm sorry for the noise. She likes to lick them. It makes her very happy. Drives my partner up the wall. Anyway. Crinkle. Anyway, I am second guessing all of my summer knitting choices. Just super dumb. And I have other summery yarns that I could use instead, and then use these for something else, do something totally different. If I really only need 400 yards to make a mini mock neck, I could just use 1 skein of 1 color from that Ilmani Sabri yarn, which is like cotton and alpaca or something fun. I don't remember. But anyway, this was the other yarn that I could not resist from the Dandelion Fiber Co. It is Kelborn Woolen's Perennial, and it was the color I couldn't. This is the color of my roller derby team. We are called the Wednesday Warnings, and we joke that we are Mountain Dew Baja Blast colored, which this is more like classic Mountain Dew, but this is actually the color that we wear. It's just a really obnoxious, wonderful green. I got 2 neon lime. It's 60% superwash merino, 25% Surrey alpaca, 15% nylon, 497 yards, which means this is almost 1,000 yards right here. I was not planning on making the Moonset Tee out of this. I guess it would be enough. I also have a whole bunch of just Surrey alpaca yarn, like that I got last year. It's very fuzzy, and it's that I got tons and tons of it. And so I was thinking it would be really fun also to make a traveler hoodie or some other sort of super cozy sweater that would be good for walking in and out of practice. But I'm also second guessing that decision because I don't know about wearing Surrey when super sweaty. Like putting knitwear that is expensive and time consuming and hard to wash on my sweaty self walking out of practice just does not make a lot of sense. So that's sort of like the dreamy wish list. And look at how different these are. I was also very entertained walking out with these two color options. Like this is so chill and this is so unchill. Which is totally my aesthetic. I'm either very chill or very unchill. I was thinking about making a traveler hoodie in the obnoxious green because it is my team color, and Andrea Mowry's also got the March to May Knitalong. That was part of why I put this up here. This is my entry for a previous March to May Knitalong when I made the Stria Cardigan, which is all fisherman's rib and super gorgeous. But I think if I was going to make a cozy walk in and out of practice sweater that is almost like a sweatshirt, I should really pick something that is probably acrylic and can just go in the washing machine. Because otherwise it's going to get gross fast. I can't, I don't know. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about? This is sort of just an update. How's March going? I'm up to like 65 books read for the year. And as usual, about 50% of those are romance novels. Some of them are really smutty, which I'm enjoying. I done a ton of more spinning than I expected to have done for the year. And I'm finally getting back into the knitting. I hurt my wrist probably in December. Or my thumb. I don't know. Whatever. I hurt my hand somehow in Derby a while back. And that put the kibosh on some of my usual knitting and spinning. And now that is totally gone. And I am back with a vengeance in many respects. Roller derby is in full force because I made it on the travel team, and we will be playing twice in April. I'm very excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And what else? I had a sick kiddo, so that took up about a week of my life. My little guy was diagnosed with pneumonia, and it was pretty touch and go whether or not I was going to take him into the hospital over the weekend. He's doing so much better now, but ironically, I think that he had been battling this pneumonia sort of for a while, and until we got the official diagnosis and got him on antibiotics, his body had sort of figured out how to deal with it. And once the antibiotics started, he got sicker before he got better. It was sort of like the pneumonia was like hanging on to him for dear life. No, I won't let you go. And so he started running this nasty fever. And, long story short, I had to call in sick to work so that I could stay home and be a nurse full time 24/7 for 4 days. And by the end of it, I was having like COVID times flashbacks because it was so stress inducing and I was sleeping very little, and I'm a little bit burnt out. So this weekend I just wanted to do a couple things for me. So I want to say hi to my friends. Hello, internet friends. How are you? I want to finish my sweater, which you saw how close I am. So that is on the docket. And then April's coming up fast, and I haven't decided what my big missions will be in that direction. But looking forward to fun, exciting things. I don't know. I usually like pick a subject to talk about, and this time I didn't really have that, so it was just kind of a little update, a check-in. Hey, look, I'm still doing the nitty YouTubey thing. Look, I make stuff and I buy stuff and I finish things, and all of these things make me happy, and here are the plans, and here's where my brain's at, and yeah. I did have one more thing to talk about, and I am super excited, and I am not going to put pictures on here, really. Maybe just like look, I was wearing this. I participated in the burlesque. It was my debut performance. I decided to stay on brand, and my nom de stage was pearl necklace, Purl, and I knit myself a sweater and a bikini. Well, I crocheted a bikini. I borrowed a large scarfy cowl thing from my dear friend Wax, and I put my hair up in, the big French twist with knitting needles, and I got on stage and I unraveled my sweater to the tune of the Weezer song Undone, the sweater song. And I had a great time doing it. It was terrifying. I also made my own tassels. I got down to pasties, friends, which is a thing I have never done before in my life. Public nudity is not a thing that I am known for. Although I don't mind, getting all schmaxy when I felt like going out to the bars in my 20s, I guess I should say. It's not like I'm doing it now. But it was for a fundraiser for the roller derby. We had a burlesque and variety show to help fund our travel team endeavors. And there was a silent auction, so I could have just knit something and given it to the silent auction. But did I do that? No. I decided that I would perform. Performance is a thing that I really enjoy. I was in the choir and a number of school plays when I was in high school and elementary school, and I applied to things in college but did not get in, and I haven't gotten into community theater as an adult because derby, child rearing, and then derby. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's the thing I ended up doing in my dotage. I'll make a good Auntie Mame someday. But I had a really good time, and I got a lot of compliments afterwards. I still have most of the sweater. What I ended up doing was speaking of, I don't usually, but this time I made a pieced sweater. So the back was one piece, the front was one piece, and then I made these sort of puffs that looked like sleeves that weren't fully attached. And so the sleeves came off, and then the sweater only unraveled from the front, which meant that I could control making it a thing in every direction. And I used super duper fat yarn held in triplicate so that the loops, as I unraveled the sweater, looked like big fringe, and I could shake the fringe while I moved around the stage. So that was really fun. I've never done anything like that before. I have thought about it before. This burlesque and variety show is something that my Derby League has done on a number of occasions over the years, and I had regrets for not signing up for it previously. So this time, I very happily was I was a last minute addition, but I had a great time, and I will do it again. I have started thinking more and more about what I would like to do for next year. Do I want to sing? I can sing. Did you know I could sing? No, you did. I mean, other than my weird sing-songy stuff, because I have been thinking about what would I like to do for next year's show. I've been even one of the other acts in the burlesque was a girl dressed like a jammer singing a song, and I've started to come up with like ideas for other fun variations of that, like changing the words to popular songs so that they become derby related, and like, which of my friends could I get to, be on stage to just be in a tripod, and I can be the jammer that's stuck in the tripod and then sing a song about being stuck there. Things like that I think would be entertaining. But this is just sort of like background hum while I'm doing other things in my life. This is where my brain goes. The creative juices are flowing, my friends, and I'm enjoying it. So there, that's my one last thing to talk about. I don't really have anything else to report. Things are chugging along. It's March. Happy March. And I hope wherever you are that you are enjoying reading and making and watching things and listening to music and eating and drinking and whatever it is that brings you joy. I'm having a grand time living my life. So cheers to that with our imaginary drinks. Yay. I wish you all the best, and I will see you again. Bye.